Now on 767 News, DLP committed to developing Dominica if given 5 more years in office. Significant increase in young voter registration, says Chief Elections Officer. And in sports, football action to resume this week. Welcome to another day with me, Alicia George, on the 767 News Desk. Stay with us while we bring you the latest developments after the break.
The Court's Ultimate Christmas is finally here. Let's help you bring in the season of cheer. With free gifts and savings galore, at Court's we always give you more. Shop today. You may get it free. Win a Mabe appliance for under your tree. Buy LG and you can win it too. A smartphone that's curved and thin just for you. Shop with Ready Finance this festive season and we'll pay your first 2 installments. There's no better reason. With Court's Ultimate Christmas, there's no need to roam. For Court's is always bringing value home.
Astafans has mackerel fish in a variety of flavors and very low prices. Golden Prize mackerel in water, tomato sauce, or vegetable sauce is priced lower than other brands. Add Golden Prize mackerel to rice or provision and enjoy a tasty full meal for the whole family. Add your favorite vegetables and meals will get even more delicious. Great price, delicious food in a variety of flavors with Golden Prize mackerel. Astafans, right place, right price.
Say hello to the Digicel DL700, our newest best value Android smartphone with a 4-inch display, front-facing camera, and a 5-megapixel rear camera. It's perfect for snapping and sharing. Plus, it's super fast, so you can play more, do more, and listen more. And choose to download from over 1 million apps in the Google Play Store. The Digicel DL700, the latest addition in the Digicel Android smartphone range. Make the smart choice. Digicel.
Welcome back. We'll start this newscast with following weeks of speculation. Dominica's Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, announced that Dominicans will go to the polls on December 8, 2014. The country's leader made the announcement when he addressed a live press conference on Wednesday, just 2 days after he addressed nationals on the observance of Dominica's 36th anniversary of independence. The Prime Minister stated that the process towards general elections began with the dissolution of the House of Parliament on Wednesday.
Accordingly, and with full confidence in the capacity of voters to decide objectively and choose wisely, I have today, Wednesday, the 5th day of November 2014, in accordance with the provisions of Section 54 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica, advise His Excellency the President to dissolve the Parliament of Dominica with immediate effect and to issue a writ for the holding of general elections.
Meantime, the DLP leader said if the DLP is given another mandate to run the affairs of Dominica, the party will remain committed to Dominica's development through realistic programs, plans, and policies. He gave his party's commitment to improving the country's health services, including the construction of a new general hospital and giving citizens free access to these services. Honorable Skerrit assured nationals that the DLP government would remain committed to using agriculture as a major pillar to shaping Dominica's economy.
My government is committed to agriculture as a major pillar of Dominica's economy. The reasons for this include food security, foreign exchange, and linkages to tourism. With the help of our partners in development, particularly the governments of the People's Republic of China and the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, more Dominicans, especially young people, are returning to the land and seeing agricultural work as a business.
Honorable Skerrit also spoke of plans for continued investment in the housing revolution and to assist needy citizens in every community across the country. He said focus will also be placed on refurbishing or rebuilding dilapidated buildings and in the process eliminating all pit toilets by the year 2020. The DLP leader said a DLP government will also work on constructing at least 1,500 affordable homes, empower the island's young people, strengthen the Yes We Care program, and increase support to the elderly. There has been a significant increase in the number of young persons registering for the upcoming general elections. This is according to Chief Elections Officer Stephen LaRocque in an interview with 767 News on Thursday. He said from December 1st of 2013 to November 5th of 2014, a total of 4,400 new registrations were documented.
Every time you have elections, generally it's the younger persons who are voting, registering at this time. But we have noticed during the course of this year that the number of persons who are, I can call them middle-aged or even some elderly persons who are resident to vote for the first time when they decide all of a sudden that they want to be part of the process. You also have Dominicans who are returning home for good who are also registering to vote. So, but basically, the majority of new registrations are younger persons.
The Chief Elections Officer is urging all Dominicans who are yet to register to find a registering officer in their community right now, as midnight is the close of all new registrations. Important documents for new registrations include a registered voter in the same polling district as a new registrant, documents to validate a birth date, such as a birth certificate and/or passport, and proper identification. And some good news for the people of Pennville. The construction of a new resource center in the community is well underway following a groundbreaking ceremony that took place on October 30th. The resource center will be built in Lower Pennville near segment 12 of the Waitukubuli National Trail and will serve as a designated hurricane shelter, among other things. Despite the fact that the project took nearly 3 years before it materialized, Honorable Gloria Chillingford, at the time Minister for Social Services, Community Development and Gender Affairs, said the ministry is thankful that the work can now begin.
It is probably not all that we would have wanted, because we wanted a much bigger community center for both our communities, that of Wesley and Pennville, but we had to be satisfied at this point in time with what the bank has given to us. This community holds immense tourism development prospects, and residents can certainly capitalize on this facility as a venue for tourism activities.
The Pennville Resource Center project is one of 2 projects of this magnitude undertaken that week. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony, Prime Minister and Parliamentary Representative for the Pennville constituency, Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, said that the design of the original facility had to be scaled down due to the lack of financing.
We had to scale it down because the design of the facility and the tendered amounts from the contractors were way beyond what was originally budgeted for. So we decided to go ahead with the scaled down project, but I have given the people of Wesley the commitment that the government will provide the additional funds to do the original structure once we finish the first phase of it. And I'm saying to you here in Lower Pennville that the government shall make available the funds to do the other sections of the resource center to have a larger community hall.
The project was funded by the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, and the government of Dominica, and will be managed by the Pennville Village Council. Meanwhile, leader of the United Workers' Party, UWP, Lennox Linton, has expressed concern over general elections without electoral reform. He said the Electoral Commission is going to conduct this general election in the same manner it was done in the last 2 general elections, which were allegedly manipulated by the Dominica Labour Party.
I refer here specifically to the inaccurate list of electors, the fact that overseas-based nationals who have been out of the country for more than 5 years and therefore should not be on the register by law are still allowed to vote by the Electoral Commission. And the fact that people have been known to vote in the names of dead people. We're hearing all sorts of concerns about arrangements being made for foreign nationals to cast ballots in this election in the names of Dominicans who might be dead and so on. All of that is exactly why over the years the Electoral Commission itself, the Chief Elections Officer, visiting groups of observers from the Commonwealth, from the OAS, from CARICOM, have pointed and have recommended electoral reform.
He said the Electoral Commission agreed that electoral reform is necessary, however, has failed to deliver on this important promise to the citizens of Dominica, who advocate for free and fair elections as the backbone of our democracy. Linton says it is unacceptable that in 2014, keeping in mind all advancements in the civilized world on free and fair general elections agenda, that Dominicans will not be asked to identify themselves to vote.
When we go to cash a check for $100 in the bank, they ask us for ID. Do you think that cashing a check in the bank is as important as voting in an election that will decide who runs the affairs of government for the next 5 years? And yet, we have a commission whose independence of action is guaranteed by the Constitution that has decided somehow it will play the game that Roosevelt Skerrit once played so that the arrangements can be manipulated to the benefit of the Dominica Labour Party. We're concerned about that.
The UWP leader added, irrespective of the lack of electoral reform, which his party has been advocating for some time, they will contest the general elections. He said Team Dominica will heighten its monitoring capabilities to defend against fraud during the December general elections. When we return, we'll bring you the latest as the election campaign continues here in Dominica.
Introducing the Ashley Collection at Quartz. Quartz has joined with Ashley Furniture, the #1 selling home furnishings brand in America, to bring you the most extraordinary furniture selection at unbeatable prices. It's now easier than ever before to find that perfect furniture piece for your home. And what's more, you can add that special touch with the right accent piece from our range of designer accessories from Ashley. Create the perfect look for your home with the Ashley Collection at Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home. Visit the new Ashley Gallery at our Roseau store.
There are big dogs and there are small dogs, but for all dogs, there's only one dog food, and it's called Winner's Choice. Winner's is packed with the best nutrition in a tasty recipe to give your dog a complete and fully balanced diet. The best scientific research goes into making Winner's dog food highly digestible, so your dog system stays healthy. So when you feed your dog Winner's dog food, everyone's a winner. And because Winner's Choice dog food is available from Astafans, you know it's the right price. Astafans, right place, right price.
Welcome back. Outgoing parliamentary representative for the Roseau Central, Honorable Norris Prevost, says leader of the United Workers' Party, Lennox Linton, will lead Dominica on the right path. He says Linton is a great leader who is committed to the cause of nation building. He made the statement during an interview with 767 News on Wednesday, shortly after the Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, announced December 8, 2014 as the election date.
I had the opportunity to listen to Dr. Andre as our political leader, Mr. Lennox Linton, presented to each of his candidates one of the books on the life of Mr. Edward Oliver LeBlanc, and asked each candidate of Team Dominica to use Edward Oliver LeBlanc as his model in politics. You know, when Mr. Linton did this, I knew that Dominica had found in Lennox Linton a great leader.
He quoted Calypso writer Pat Aaron, who described Dominica's current situation as people on a highway who took the wrong exit, and is calling on Dominicans to be courageous for freedom and steering Dominica back on the right path with the United Workers' Party. Honorable Prevost, who made his last speech as parliamentary representative of the city at a press conference on Wednesday morning, said he remains committed to serve the residents, although he is retiring from active politics.
Those of us who are afraid, do not be afraid. Be courageous for change, because already in Roseau South, a decision has been made. And if you can see a swing in Roseau South, where United Workers' Party, where the Labour Party won by over 1,500 votes in 2009, and right now in 2014, all surveys, the Labour Party survey, the United Workers' Party, show that Joshua Francis has overtaken Ambrose George. You know that the country is ready for change. And as Pat Aaron has said, what we are seeing now is a sign of dictatorship. The Lord has moved Skerrit to call the election. And I thank the Lord for this grace. And I ask the people of Dominica to look into their hearts examine what they are seeing and realize that God has given us an opportunity to save our country again and to get our people back on the right path.
The outgoing MP for Roseau Central constituency was appointed as a senator to the House of Assembly from 1990 to 2005. From 1995 to 2000, he served as a Minister of Tourism under the United Workers' Party government, which was led by Edison James at the time. Prevost was re-elected in 2009 general election, defeating the Dominica Labour Party's opponent, Alvin Bernard. Joseph Isaac is the UWP's candidate for the December 8, 2014 general elections. And the Prime Minister and leader of the Dominica Labour Party, DLP, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, has taken the time to itemize some of his government's achievements in the area of infrastructural development over the past 14 years. The Prime Minister did so when he addressed the nation during a live press conference on Wednesday.
During the past 14 years, your government has focused on upgrading primary, secondary, and feeder roads throughout Dominica. By 2014, we had brought all major and secondary roads connecting villages and cities up to an acceptable standard. The recent formal opening and naming of the Dr. Nicholas Liverpool Highway was part of the acknowledgement of the considerable progress we have made on upgrading our roads. Similarly, the many improvements and recent renaming of the Douglas Chelsea Airport is a staging post to acquiring an international airport to enable travelers to get to and from Dominica more quickly from cities across the world.
He said these projects were essential to the sustainable development of Dominica. Additionally, he told the nation that the government recently signed a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with a private company with the People's Republic of China for the construction of an international airport in Compton Point using the build, operate, and transfer model. Also, the Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, was on Wednesday visited by His Royal Highness Prince Charles of Bourbon-Tusilus, Duke of Castro and 59th Grand Master, and His Eminence Renato Raffaelli Cardinal Martino. During the visit, which also included Cardinal Proto-Deacon of the Holy Roman Catholic Church, President Emeritus of the Pontifical Council for Justice and Peace, and Grand Prior, Prime Minister Skerrit spoke highly of religion in Dominica.
Some have been espousing the doctrine of separation of state and church. I believe that the church has a very important role to play in nation building. And the cathedral has a very important historical significance in the country, but also a central place where Catholics and other Christians can congregate as we all seek to prepare ourselves for the great beyond. So we're very pleased, and of course I'm sure His Lordship Bishop will have the opportunity to also express his gratitude to you. I wanted to welcome you to Dominica and to say how happy we are.
Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Castro and His Excellency Sir Anthony Bailey, Secretary General and Magistral Delegate for the Interreligious Relations, also formed part of the visiting delegation. His Excellency Sir Anthony Bailey said the Archbishop of Castro, Robert Rivers, described the visit of the delegation to the Caribbean as a great historic tree with roots that spread through centuries.
What is happening over the visits to Antigua and Dominica, which their Royal Highnesses are heading, and the rest of the visits which are being headed by His Eminence, is very much to, grow this tree and more branches to assist those that are most in need. And I think there's no question that the projects that the Church have nominated and which you as the government have endorsed will be of great service. His Royal Highness has made the decision to create a permanent delegation for the Order in the Caribbean.
His Excellency noted that this permanent delegation is fundamental, as it would mean there would be permanent representation for the Caribbean at the table of the Constantinian Order. He said plans are underway to identify various projects to embark on with governments. The latest in sports news is coming up next with Larry, so stay tuned.
I made a stupid mistake.
See where it's now landed me.
My baby's now behind bars, feels forgotten by society. It's time for us to make a change. All of us make a change. Juvenile Justice Reform Project. All of us make a change. Make a change. Instead of incarceration, y'all, let's try diversion, reform, rehabilitation.
Our youth needs a second chance beyond bars.
A world that accepts them with open arms.
It's nice to know that you're here.
Just know that we care.
This time we'll do our part.
Let's all make a fresh start.
It's time for us to make a change.
All of us make a change.
Juvenile Justice Reform Project.
All of us make a change.
Make a change.
The Juvenile Justice Reform Project, a new path to changing lives for good, funded by USAID and the OECS Secretariat.
Good evening and welcome to 767 Sports. We begin tonight's coverage with table tennis. The Dominica Table Tennis Association, DTTA, is inviting all table tennis players and anyone who has an interest in the sport to a special meeting. It will take place on Saturday, November 8, 2014 at the Bath Estate Community Center from 10 a.m. Matters to be discussed include umpiring and refereeing courses to be held later this month, a street tournament and a Grand Prix. The DTTA is asking all persons to be present and on time. In football, action resumes this week in the National Leagues of the Dominica Football Association following the Independence Celebration break. Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Football Association, Gerald George, has more detail.
We begin with the Dominic Women's League. Defending champions, New India Goodwill Runners, will go in search of their third consecutive victory when they come up against Wood City Strikers at 5 p.m. While on Sunday, New Generation Sports Club will be looking for victory number 4 when they take on Southfield Stars at 4 p.m. Both matches will be played at the Bath Estate playing field. Meanwhile, the final match in the first round of the Line Premier League will be played on Sunday with former champion Scotiabank Bath Estate taking on Icons Football Club at the Geneva Grounds in Grand Bay at 3 p.m.
George, who is also a representative of the Point Michel Sports Council, has an update on the Carib Sand and Stone Point Michel Football League, which will also resume this weekend.
On Friday, Ian Pinat Sufrius Patterns will take on Stallions, while on Saturday it will be Jizz Limited First Wolf Security Ghetto Youth versus A&P Lodbor. And on Sunday, defending champions Ian Pinat Boca Juniors will come up against Astafans Belvisho Young Gunners. All matches will be played at the Pori playing field at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Gerald George, for that report. And that's it for tonight's Sportscast.
And that was Larry with the latest in sports. That's all for today on Local News. Drop us an email, friend us on Facebook, and be sure to like our 767 News page. From all of us on the 767 News production team, I'm Alicia George, wishing you a pleasant evening, and thanks for watching.